whites, can they use this or can they use that? That's not any kind of equality of opportunity, nor does it lend toward one's dignity. What does a black man look like begging for a cup of coffee in a white restaurant and doesn't have a job to back up to pay for it when he does get the coffee?
The color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Build your own house. Crazy concept. How come we can't get it? Know why? Because we too busy watching football. Good evening. Welcome back to the No PC show. It's Thursday night, and I know it's the kickoff for the NFL season. I don't know if we want to call it the sort of protest is over. The semi-protest is over. People took checks, so it's cool now. I may catch a few minutes of a game here or there, but what changed? I was talking to one of my buddies today. We partnership on a few things, copy machines. What's up, Lawrence? What's up, Miss Catherine? And we were talking about this situation, and we were having this debate, and I just have this one point that I always make, and I tell people what our problem is. The problem is we are afraid to shut something down in this country to make a point. The only thing we ever shut down was the bus system in Montgomery. For over a year, black people in that city came together, supported each other, didn't take the buses for a year. That's unity. They had a great opportunity on this football field on the opening day to make the statement of a lifetime. Before that ball kicked off that season, they could have just all sat down, refused to play, shut the whole world down, cost the NFL millions and millions of dollars, and made them bargain with them. But they didn't. They chose to be who we've been trained to be in this country. Other groups don't care. They'll shut it down, especially white folks. They'll shut down the whole world to get what they want. I got a definition of unity. Let me share this with you all so people can understand what unity actually means. Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. The significance which is in unity is an external wonder. No doubt, unity is something to be desired and to be striven for, but it cannot be wielded by mere declaration. Basically meaning all the yah conversations we have, that's all BS. That's all lip service. It doesn't get us anywhere. I was watching the documentary. What's up, Adrian? See you out there. I was watching the documentary on HBO called King in the Wilderness, and it's talking about the last few years in Martin Luther King's movement, and it had a lot of clips with Stokely Carmichael, who I like to call. I think Stokely was like a mercenary for civil rights, because he would go from this group to this group to this group, whatever group that was saying that they wanted rights for black people, even if his ideology was different, he still rolled with them. Often in this documentary, they show him and King together, and the reporters asking both of them questions, and he's getting two opposite sides of the thing. I don't know if Stokely felt like he was the next Malcolm or something, like he was stepping in where Malcolm left off with a different ideology. But that's what we still have today. We can't come together. So my guy was like, yeah, but you know, everybody is not going. I said, we can't say that everybody is not going to. We have to encourage everybody to. We have to say, this is what we're going to do, and we'll deal with the back end on the back end. Well, you don't have $1 million contract. I don't need $1 million contract. When it becomes bigger than yourself, then you're able to step outside of yourself and have some type of function in your community. That's what it takes. But a lot of people don't get that. And I tell people, in order to help your people, you got to love your people. And we all realize some of our people are just not ready for war. No, a lot of them are just crazy out here. My brother posted a clip yesterday. It wasn't a clip. It was just one of those memes. And it said, so many black men are willing to kill and risk their life and sell drugs and destroy the community and do 15 to 20 years in the penitentiary, but they can't get their mindset together long enough to do 4 years of high school or 4 years of college. Now, I recognize a lot of these dudes that's out here on these streets doing all this dirt, very intelligent brothers. And they got to be part of the army that we need to make this happen too. I don't know how they become so disillusioned with life, because they got to understand the whole process of that. If I decide to live my life this way, then I've decided to destroy other people's lives. I've decided to destroy my kids' life, my woman's life, because if I get locked up, then, as we talked about on the last show, I've left my children out here to the wolves. I've basically abandoned my family because I made the here and now choice because I felt hopeless. And you know, I've been at that hopeless spot. I don't want to say it was hopeless, because I had a relationship with God, so I would pray on my situations. A lot of people don't want to pray no more. All the millennials got all the ideas of action, but they have no financial support. They have these big ideas of, we're not going to do it the way you guys did it, And the same thing as we were saying that we weren't going to do it like the generation before us, but the generation before us 60s babies, that's Martin Luther King's generation. We have to remember Martin Luther King was only 39 years old when he died. 38, 39. Malcolm was only 38, 39. Medgar Evers, I think, was 36. So you had a bunch of young people dying for a cause, or what they felt was a just cause, and that cause was the liberation of black people in this country. I took some notes because it was some things that, watching the documentary, you know, they were trying. Often they would say, "Well, what are we fighting for?" And at first we thought we were fighting for freedom. So, okay, we got this freedom and the slavery thing. It was all a political move by Abraham Lincoln. Then came Reconstruction, where they supposedly gave us some stuff, and then they took it back. Okay, so that wasn't a win. Okay, then we got Jim Crow laws, lynching, KKK. So that wasn't a win. Then we got a few laws that said, okay, you can't beat niggas down the street no more. You can still treat them bad. You can still deny them housing, economic prosperity. You can still do everything you want to do. Because when we go to court, you know, we play that game of wasting time with the Negroes. And I call that creative integration. Creative integration means I sit at a table with you and I pretend like I really give a damn about what you're saying, but all along I'm just only interested in my own interests. What I heard somebody say today, that's when they say 1 for you, 1 for me, 2 for you, 2 for me, 3 for you, 3 for me. So it's just a constant setup where we can play this game with you all, and all you all to do, just like Dr. Martin Luther King, let's be respectful, often played this game with Johnson. And Johnson would say, just be patient. We gonna do this. You can't push it all at once. White people got these rights and they want it to be a certain way. Forget the fact that y'all were slaves and then we put y'all through another 100 years of Jim Crow. Forget all that. We need you to wait a little more. And Martin and all these other leaders said, okay, that sounds good. I mean, they gave us a little something, so I guess we got to wait a little more. What do we get? Right after they did the little 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments, in 1966 they turned around and did a minority bill, giving not additional money, but basically placing them over us and giving money to everybody. Okay, well, we're going to treat everybody good. We're going to treat everybody good. My friend brought up the point of, well, you know, now you got all these other people claiming minority status in America, and they happy to because they coming from impoverished countries. But we have no time to play the political game of you all get it because you're minorities, because our skin tone is the same. No. You wouldn't get hit in the head. You wasn't getting beat down. And actually, you come here and you participate with them to further destroy us. We talked about Chinatown today. Me and my guy Chad. Shouts out to Chad. In every city in America, there's a Chinatown. And there's a big sign that says Chinatown. And there's no shame. There's only pride and joy when all those people that work in that community and put their money together and have their own identity come together and say, this is Chinatown. Most blacks would be ashamed to live in a place called Blacktown. I say they would even run from it. Oh no, I can't be in Blacktown. That's going to offend some of my white friends. And King had that too. And hey, far be it from me to say that there aren't some white people with a conscience in the world. But they are far outnumbered by those that don't have a conscience. Like I tell the story all the time, a lot of these people in corporate America and things like that are doing the evilness, a lot of your politicians go to church and they sit in the church and they pray and they thank God for being in the position that they in. Screw you over. They don't say it in those terms. They just say, thank you, God, for letting me be a good, great person. And I will do something maybe once in my life that really is going to show that I'm not a hypocrite like America. We talked about Donald Trump today, and I said, Donald Trump is America. How else can he become the president if he's not showing the American values? And I said he's showing the American white values. He's in full charge of, I know what I can do with my people. I got all their secrets. I know who's the real racist. Shit, I was at the dinner table with them. These my friends. This is America. Ain't that what he said in that song? Don't get caught slipping. It takes a strong mind to break strong chains. That's an old saying. So some of the chains that we have, one, not believing in ourselves. Two, not believing in the future for ourselves. Three, not loving each other. Four, not believing in each other. It all goes together. And you know, a lot of people want to argue about the Willie Lynch letter. Is it true or not? Whether it's true or not, the document and what it says is true. As long as we're divided, then what's the point? I wrote down here, and let me find it because I try to write stuff down as much as I can. If we're not willing to sacrifice, then we got to stop complaining. Because you're not going to get nowhere in this world without a sacrifice. I did a poem a long time ago, and it's called Brother by the Boat. And it talks about how we all came over here together on the boat, and we were chained together. And we could look, even if we didn't speak the same language, we saw a brother in the same situation that we were in. And we knew if we're going to take over this boat, if we're going to get back to the motherland, it's got to be me and you, brother. That's why we got that head nod now. We see the brothers, hey, what's up? But now that could be dangerous. Because the millennials don't think the same. They mad already because they already see we didn't build anything. Where's the village builders? Oh, they all playing football? The rules of America, and I always tell people, I said, there's rules to America. And all our leaders found out what they are. Stay in the lane that we give you. Otherwise, you're going to be declared a problem. In corporate America, it was a young lady on the radio this evening, and she was talking about how she was in line for a promotion. And one day, I guess you had to have a certain amount of time in, and then you would qualify to be promoted. And one day before it was time for her to be promoted, they changed the rules. What's up, Brandon? – They changed the rules. She couldn't get a promotion. I have a friend that comes in all the time, Mr. Lee, and we had these similar discussions. And my position is always, yeah, I worked in corporate America for 26 years. I can't tell you 1 year where I wasn't totally disgusted with what was going on. But until I was ready to make that leap to attempt to take care of myself and my family with what I had amassed, I didn't just jump out into the street, but I started thinking and planning like most slaves had to do back in that day. Often they would take 20 years to save up enough money to buy their freedom, which is probably a ripoff because they probably had worked enough and paid off enough to been free way before then. We talk about the psychology behind when they were free. And then there were some Negroes that were out there on the road picking potatoes, whatever they had to do to scrounge a living. And they were looking at those slaves that decided to stay, that were not educated, getting ripped off. Now you can stay on the land, but now you got to pay me rent. You got to rent the tools, and then I'll teach you out your money because none of y'all really know how to count, and you ain't got no recourse. And we said, okay, that sounds good, master. We can't do it unless we start all identifying as one, and that's the whole point of the show. People never hear me say, I'm an African American. No, I don't check African American on a form either. And there's no American flags in my shop. Why would there be? What has America done that says to me I should be gung-ho screaming out America? Why are we paying for student loans in this country? It's amazing. You know why? Because we got too many black people screaming American. I'm an American. I'm an African American. Know what that says? Okay, then you don't get no reparations because you trying to get money from yourself because you's an American, and you telling America to pay you because you're an American. No, you're not. You's a black person. I'm a black person. Anthropo Negro, that's what I call myself. Because I had to get out here, and then it becomes a whole different mindset, and it becomes a freer mindset. Do I have the money like I used to have? No, but guess what? I got way more dignity. Way more than I ever had. Getting away from these people and seeing the world as it really is. And I ain't gonna knock nobody. Hey, everybody got to work. Everybody got kids they got to take care of. You got these loans and everything because that's what Uncle Daddy Sam did for you. Oh, you's an American? Okay. Well, we going to treat you like an American. Here's a student loan for you. Here's a house loan for you. Here's some car loans for you. I ain't going to make you whole. That's the whole thing. Why would I make you whole? And then I know the only thing you're going to do is try to compete with me. So as Sterling says, I give them money. I give them cars. I give them women. I let them run up and down the court and make me millions of dollars. And then I call them niggas. That's what they call us. Regardless, and I've seen some of the best black folks get treated like crap. I worked at a law firm for years, and there was a particular lawyer who was always getting accolades, even went on to work for President Obama. And I remember she was going to be in a magazine with Johnny Cochran and some other prominent black attorneys in the world. Do you know our firm would not give up her bio information to the magazine so they could write their piece on her? Would you believe when she went to work for the president of the United States, she was already a managing partner in the firm. So when a partner's leaving, their email stays on, the phone, everything still stays connected. That day, someone disconnected it, not me, but someone else. But I got the call from her. And we would often talk. And when you get too far with white folks in corporate America, they'll send in what they call the Negro to talk you down. So they sent her in to talk me down. And we had that frank discussion on corporate America and how we're treated. And she gave me this piece of advice that, hey, stop fighting with these people. They're going to do what they want to do. She says, I bring in $30 million. They act like it's nothing. The white boy brings in $3 million. There's champagne in the lobby. She said, you have to decide what you want to do and do that. Because arguing with these people is a waste of time. And I adopted that philosophy in my life. And I decided what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was get out of there and do my own thing. We got to decide what we really want to do. And sometimes it's going to have to be sacrificing football for 2 years or 3 years or sitting down on the field to make a point. Like I said, all that lip service. I read you the definition of unity. Unity is strength. If all you do is talk, that ain't no strength. If the roles were reversed, and the NFL is what, 65% black, and the NBA is 75% black, 78% black, that's where all the power is. That's what a real protest is like. You shut it down, and then that forces everyone to come to the table and have a real discussion with you. And part of that discussion is nobody that was involved in this protest will be punished. And if you think you can punish them or you want to punish them, you have to honor their contract all the way out. So if they already had a contract for $20 million, you need to up that $20 million right now. That's all it took. Martin Luther King at the time was getting the best deal that he thought he could get for us. And that's what he got. But that's one man who had the respect of many people. There's a part in the documentary where Andrew Young says, and after Martin died, we kind of fractioned. And that basically happens when other leaderships have not been built up. When all our political hopes are dependent on one man or two men or three men, we got to have the same mindset all the way around. And people say, well, that's easy for you to say. Yeah, it's easy for me to say because that's the type of life I try to live. I intentionally go out and try to seek black people to give my money to do work and other things for me. Intentionally, I do it. Consciously, it's on my mind. I don't praise white people pretty much for anything. I just don't. I do believe that they have an advantage in the world, and as long as they capitulate with they other white folks, they will always be in control. I've seen the movie too many times of white folks walking into companies, can barely tie shoes, and the next thing you know, they're a manager. It's incredible. It's sickening. Kind of reminds me of a part in the documentary. They talk about when this white woman comes up and spits in Martin Luther King's face. And he doesn't snap and go off on her. He just tells her, you're too lovely of a woman to be behaving like that. And I guess that worked on the consciousness because he was at another march. Then the same woman came up and apologized. Martin Luther King taught us that it was us who needed to redeem the soul of America. I can't agree with that philosophy. I don't know where that philosophy came from, because it's still stuck in a lot of us today that we have to find some redemption in the people that persecute us, that beat us down, that hated us. That's our biggest problem as black folks. We concerned about everybody else except us. And we feel it's just horrible to save our own children. I always get that analogy. You're standing on the bridge. They got this baby by a leg and they got your baby by a leg. And you're like, wait a minute, don't do that to that baby over there. And you're not even concerned with your own baby. That's America. They have convinced us, and they've showed us, and it's already, I tell people already, that financially, to catch up financially, forget it. You have been managed into poverty by the same people that affected you in the first place. So you get $200,000 worth of student loans. You get a house loan, all this from the same people that denied you education for 300 years, that forced you to live in situations that you shouldn't have to live in, that denied you your benefits when you came home from the war. So they'd be like, what does reparations look like? Reparations means to repair something back to its wholeness. The Jews been getting reparations for years, but 60-some years? Longer than that. Oh, what? The Jews got money. The Jews got land. They got business stuff. And they still getting it? Bernie Sanders supporters. The man has said on TV multiple times, I don't believe in this reparations. It'll never get through. That's how it says it. It'll never get through. Because he already knows, just like Donald Trump knows. Until y'all get some balls and really stand up, even though Don Lemon got on TV and said the biggest terrorists in America are white men, he was totally correct, and he's married to one. Whatever that means. You know, cognitive dissonance. We're conflicted so much on on such a level that we can't get out of our own way. It's scary and it's sickening. And like I say, quite often lately, I've just been waking up like, what's the future for black people? It's not going to be in corporate America because, like I say, all the foreigners that came in and your white buddies then decided to team up with them, and they going to be your boss, and they ain't going to have a problem firing you, and they going to be like, but I'm a minority too. And that's going to satisfy the quote that the government has laid down for how many minorities you need to have, and it won't be you. I think they just hired 6,000 more police officers in the Chicagoland area. And then they gave out the stats. And they said 38% of them are Hispanics. 21% are black. 6% are Asian. And the rest are white. Basically meaning half are white. But we won't complain until somebody's getting choked out, until another person's getting let off from death by cop. They just had it. Well, I guess somebody just got convicted. So let's say, hooray, we had 2 people convicted in the last 10 years for things they did to black people. Like I said, I had these discussions. I just want to just talk about that. And if there's a way, and maybe it starts one-on-one, maybe I get to say, hey, brother, I see you struggling. What can I do to help you? Then maybe that'll be infections. I was talking to, I won't say their name, I was talking to somebody a couple of nights ago, and they were telling me, and I remember them when they were knuckleheads, and I would get on their case, and now they found something that really excites them in life, and they're telling me about, man, I took these classes, and now I do this, man, and I ain't got time for none of that nonsense no more. That's a beautiful thing, because it took a certain point in his life where he became who he was really supposed to be. Malcolm X was a criminal for years. But if he would have died in the streets or in prison, we would have never had a Malcolm X. And so many others where the transformation is not instant, but over time. So it's great that he found himself, and now he can recognize all the ignorance that he was in when he was in the streets and into the drugs and into that life that so many people embrace. It's a terrible thing to embrace, and we just got to call it out. Everybody that's out there doing dirt and stuff like that, their goal is still to escape the hood. They trying to get out. The dope dealer's trying to get out. It's not cool. Yeah, black culture drives the industry. We're the best dressed. We're the best dancers. We're the most athletic. We waste the most money. That's the black culture everybody talks about here. I don't know what else they talking about. Well, there's some elites. Yeah, there's some elite people too. I've met some. I hung out on the boat, sat on the boat with some judges, and all this type of great stuff. I've been to some magnificent homes owned by black people, surrounded by white people. Because I'm making this money and everything, I got to get away. But I'll get back through my church, and then the church will hinder you from doing a lot of things in the community and things like that. And I have debates often with friends about that situation. But I see a lot of churches are starting to think on that different level of, let's buy up the property around our neighborhood. Let's support the people in the neighborhood more. Because I was told, no, the church only has to worry about saving souls. Okay, where those souls at? Ain't those souls in the community? If they don't come into the door, you don't have the responsibility to go out. So you telling me that Jesus was lying when he was going around talking to everybody? Giving them the message? Because that's what I thought Jesus was about. Delivering the good news. People, it's a lot of different mindsets and things out here, and I don't claim to know everything. But I think I do have a little wisdom in my 54 years on this planet. And I think I'm a good interpreter of people and of different programs. And we appreciate everybody that comes onto the No PC show. If you're on the Facebook side, you should come over to the YouTube side, because we got a chat room. People can chat. You got a phone. You can even call in. 872-267-2552. 872-267-2552. Call in. Talk. I think soon I'm going to have some guest hosts with me. A few other people I know want to get into some podcasting and stuff like that. And we can help you, because that's what we do at RPC Computing, 1741 East 71st Street, 773-966-4457. We are open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to 1, for all your computing needs, whether that's repair, upgrades, consultations. We have a print segment. We now have a training center that we're loading material, trying to get that together. Hopefully we'll get some coding classes or something going at some point. I'm already working on that for myself. and the audio video section that we're trying to build. So we're going to keep doing the things that we know how to do. Support us. We appreciate you. And on that note, I'm going to let y'all get back to your game. Love, peace, soul, and that's what we always say. I'm out of here.
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited they women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you won't. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck that. Freedom or death, nigga.
If you just listen,
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
you were getting a warning. Until now, you're going to jail.
I'm getting it for what?